Now, the last thing that we have on this episode of the JT Sports Podcast, I'm going to be giving you guys my preview and prediction for Thursday Night Football. We have the Cleveland Browns going on the road to take on the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos currently enter this game as a 3.5-point underdog. Both of these teams are 3-3. When you look at the Denver Broncos, they have been on a 3-game losing streak. And this was another team that a lot of people were quick to jump on. I was like, okay, Denver hasn't really played anybody that's good. Like, Denver's first couple of games to open the season they were against the New York Giants, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the New York Jets, and none of those teams are even good. I think the Giants only have, one win. The Jaguars only have one win. The Jets only have one win. So you take advantage of teams who weren't really all that great. Well, you played against the Baltimore Ravens. You lost that game by multiple touchdowns. You played against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Although you fought to the end, you still lost that game by a pretty big margin, or pretty significant margin. You lost to the Raiders by 10 points. So when you look at the Denver Broncos, man, I just don't really think that the Denver Broncos are a great team, in my opinion. But you're looking at a Cleveland Browns team that's coming into Mile High, going into Denver. We already know with Denver, they have a huge home field advantage because of how the different altitude is, and you know how you kind of have to change your way of breathing and things like that. And you're looking at a Browns team right now that's kind of on the ropes. Not in terms of their play, even though they are coming off a pretty bad loss to Arizona, even though Arizona is one of the best teams in the league. But you look at the Browns team that's rolling right now because they're going through a lot of injuries. Their starting tackles didn't play last week against Arizona. Baker Mayfield is roughed up. He had something happened to his shoulder. I'm surprised he was even able to come back. And then Baker Mayfield also says that he expects to play in this game. So Baker Mayfield, man, is one of the toughest quarterbacks I have seen in a while, because I know a lot of quarterbacks, if they take a hit to the shoulder like that, they're probably done for a good amount of weeks. But Baker Mayfield says that he expects to play. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are not going to be playing this game. So we don't know the status of Odell Beckham. He's questionable to play in this game. So you look at the Denver Broncos, you're going against a Cleveland Browns team right now that has a lot of injuries. So if you're Denver, I think that this is a game that you definitely have to win, because you don't want to be behind in the division race with Kansas City looking like they're starting to heat up. Las Vegas looks like they're still trying to pick up from where they left off, even though they had the situation with John Gruden and things like that. Their season isn't over. They're still playing some really good football. You look at the LA Chargers, who so far, even though they lost to the Baltimore Ravens, they have been one of the best teams in the AFC this year. So if you're the Broncos, you don't want to lose this game and drop to 3-4 in a year, because then you're kind of not only on a 4-game losing streak at that point, but then on top of that, you're probably going to fall to last place in the division. Then you look at the Cleveland Browns, you're in a similar situation, because if you lose this game, you could be in danger of falling in last place in the AFC North. Now, when you look at the running back situation for Cleveland, not going to have Nick Chubb. You're not going to have Kareem Hunt. So you're probably asking, J2, who's going to be toting the rock for Cleveland? Well, Dearness Johnson is probably going to get the majority of reps. And Dearness Johnson is a pretty solid running back. As a matter of fact, he probably could be the second running back on a lot of teams' rosters right now. Probably RB1 in a couple of cases for a couple of teams. When you look at Dearness Johnson, he hits the hole really hard. He doesn't go down really easy. He bounces off contact. He kind of has a Dalvin Cook, Cam Akers kind of running style to him. I really like how he plays. Then you got Demetric Felton, who's kind of like a hybrid wide receiver, running back, kind of a little bit like Cordell Patterson. So we may see a little bit of him, but I expect to see D'Ernest Johnson get a lot of work in this game, especially when you look at, Baker Mayfield coming into this game banged up. They're probably not going to want to have to ask him to do too much. So they're probably going to rely heavily on D'Ernest Johnson in this game, and Demetric Felton is probably going to come in passing situations like that Cordell Patterson hybrid kind of. Now, the Cleveland Browns' two starting offensive tackles, Jedrick Willis and Jack Conklin, they're currently listed as questionable for this game. And if you're a Browns fan, you're crossing your fingers and you're hoping that these two guys are able to play in this game, because last week for Cleveland, the offensive line performance was not pretty. They allowed 5 sacks against the Arizona Cardinals last week. And when you look at this Denver Broncos defensive line, they're definitely more than capable of being able to cause a lot of havoc, especially when you have to worry about guys like Von Miller. So hopefully you can get back Wills and Conklin for this game. If you do, that's going to be a big boost. But if not, then that definitely is going to be an area of concern if you're a Browns fan. Now, when you look at Denver, their offensive line had a lackluster performance. They gave up 5 sacks to the Las Vegas Raiders this past Sunday. So they're also somebody who needs the bounce back when it comes to their offensive line and whatnot. But on top of that, Teddy Bridgewater turned the football over uncharacteristic amount of times. Like, he had 3 interceptions. And, that's something that you don't really see out of Teddy Bridgewater all that much. So when I look at Teddy Bridgewater, you look at the Broncos fan base right now, they're basically saying, okay, like, is Teddy the guy? Do we need to put Drew Lock in there? And Teddy Bridgewater, I've been saying this, is not the quarterback that's going to win you games. He's not a quarterback that you can ask him to bring you back from behind and win games and things like that. Teddy Bridgewater is a quarterback who needs to have everything going right. He's a good game manager. That's what you ask him to do. But when you're asking him to step outside of that realm and asking him to carry a team or will a team back, he's not really capable of doing that. He comes up short more times than not. And on top of that, the Denver Broncos red zone offense hasn't really been great. They have one of the worst red zone offenses in the NFL. They only score touchdowns in the red zone 45% of the time, which is 28th, the worst in the league. They also have one of the worst third down offenses in the league. They only convert on third down 29.87% of the time, which is the worst in the NFL. And the reason for that is because Teddy Bridgewater, he doesn't really take a lot of chances. There are times where Denver will be in a third and long situation, and instead of throwing the ball past the 6, Teddy Bridgewater would just take the open 6-man, 6-yard wide receiver and maybe hope and pray to God that he can pick up the first down and try to make some things shake after the catch. So Teddy Bridgewater, Denver Broncos fans are now starting to see what Teddy Bridgewater is. And maybe you do want to put in Drew Lock, because even though Drew Lock does have turnover concerns, he is going to push the ball down the field and he is going to take a lot of shots. So, I don't know, but there are a lot of Denver Broncos fans who were chirping at me really early on this year when you started out 3-0 saying, how about Teddy Bridgewater? I thought he was a game manager. Doesn't look like one. He's playing great. Well, I wonder how you Denver Bronco fans feel about Teddy Bridgewater right now. And then you look at the run game. You look at Melvin Gordon currently battling injuries and things like that. Like, the running back situation for Denver is a really good situation. Even if Melvin Gordon doesn't perform or doesn't play in this game, like, you still have, another talented running back in rookie Javonte Williams out of UNC. I would like to see him get a little bit more touches. I kind of would like to see him kind of dethrone Melvin Gordon, because I kind of feel like he's a better back at the moment than Melvin Gordon. That's just my opinion. But I really like Javonte Williams a lot. He's been really good this year. He's averaging over 4 yards per attempt. Like, I would like to see Javonte Williams get a lot more touches. And this is coming from a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Even though he got 8 carries when the Broncos played against Pittsburgh, he was averaging over 7 yards per rush. So he was doing a lot of damage to that Pittsburgh defense. So I think Javonte Williams should be a little bit more involved in the offense. I actually like to see him take over as the lead back in this Denver Broncos offense, especially when you have Melvin Gordon not really at 100%. So I look at this game, I really feel like this game is going to come down to which team is able to have more success in the red zone. Because when you look at Cleveland, obviously you have the injury to Baker Mayfield, so he's not going to be 100%. So they're probably going to run the ball a lot in this game. And when you look at Denver, okay, like they have kind of struggled in the red zone this season, so you're going to have to be much better in the red zone. And the difference in this game is going to be the team that comes away with touchdowns inside of the red zone versus the team that comes away with field goals, especially when you're the Denver Broncos. So I'm going to take the Browns to win this game. The reason why is because I still feel like the Browns are just a better team than Denver. I feel like their defense is going to be able to slow down that Denver Broncos offense, because the Denver Broncos over the last couple of weeks, man, like their offense has not really been all that great ever since, they played Baltimore, and Baltimore proved them to be, not as great as what a lot of people were hoping they would be. So I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns to get the victory. 28-17 is going to be my final score prediction in this game. You guys let me know who you guys have winning this game down in the comment section down below.